260 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. Now let's look at Philip Rivers' history. At that pace, he's on a just a little over 500 throw for the year, little under 70% completions, little over 4,200 yards. Let's go back to 2018 when he kind of had the same 500 throw year, right? About the same completion percentage, little, obviously a few fewer yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Now let's go to 2019 last year when he was on a 600 throw year, okay? Completion percentage is the same, yards are good, but TDs are down, interceptions are up. So for Philip Rivers, if he can stay on this 30 pitch count, run the ball, kind of keep the formula going, and I know it was Detroit, but if he can be involved in the game plan in this way and doesn't have to be that 40, 45 throw game guy, then obviously they can continue to be sneaky good for a while all the way into the playoffs.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and they get the Ravens this week. They'll be tested. I think that game also told us a lot about the Lions here as they came in with high expectations, had won a couple of games in a row. A big win for them at home yesterday would have really helped them out in a wild card shot here for the second half, but no. It didn't happen. What do you think, by the way, of the Hines celebrations? He did that twice on both touchdowns.
That always amazes me. It was beautiful. I'm with you on that. But when does it occur to you to do that? And how much do you have to practice it? I mean, if it's an instantaneous, you got to give him credit for that. But, I mean, how much do you practice that? That's, as a coach, I'm going, maybe we should be practicing some other things rather than a double flip half gainer with a twist at the end or whatever that was.
I'm impressed. I don't, I'm looking at it going, you clearly have some gymnastics in your background here. I want to know more. I want to do like the A Football Life Nyheim Hines gymnastics lead-up backstory. Maybe we'll do that in the offseason. Thank you, Brian Billick. Back a little bit later. I want to talk about those Ravens and what we saw yesterday from Lamar Jackson.
It's put us in field goal range, and then special teams, kicking it through and winning the game.
There's something that you have to adjust to actually after getting on the field.
His clutch gene kicked in. The adjustment was Will Clutch came through in the end. All right, cool. Appreciate it.
Much media time. Let me have a little.
Cam Jordan crashing that. Let's get back to the fight here. We do expect some kind of discipline, maybe as early as today for Javon Wims for just the two-handed combination. You heard Matt Nagy on the podium. He was a little stronger when he did a local radio appearance Monday morning. Take a listen.
It was completely senseless. It was stupid. It was selfish. Every word you can possibly think of what he did is unacceptable. That's not good for this game. That's not good for kids that watch the sport of football, and we're not gonna deal with that.
Stacey Dales with me now. Was at that game yesterday at Soldier Field. We could talk Bears offense all day long. Let's just talk about Javon Wims here, because it is the one thing that I know everyone there, Stacey, is talking about rather than Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky. He just lost his cool, and they were down only 3 wideouts after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just on a Zoom call with head coach Matt Nagy, and he is furious about this incident. He spoke with Javon Wims today. He confirmed that, Andrew. But regardless of the circumstances, the extenuating circumstances of this incident in which he punched Chauncey Gardner-Douglas of the Saints, we've seen the videos on Twitter, whether or not he pulled out his mouth guard or not. This is unacceptable behavior. It can't happen. And it's a reflection of what is happening with the Chicago Bears right now. And it's a reflection, I think Matt Nagy said it best, on the coaching staff and the accountability. They are the most penalized team in the National Football League right now. And last week leading up to this game, Andrew, they wanted to get back to having some fun. And so they kind of chopped it up a little bit in practice, coming off that really bad Monday Night Football loss to the Rams in Los Angeles. And for this team, though, I think the temper got the best of Javon Wims. Matt Nagy said this isn't the character of this individual, but there will be discipline. We don't know how they're going to levy that discipline. You assume it will be both from the league and internally with the Chicago Bears. But Matt Nagy extremely disappointed with this incident. And I would think this week they're really going to have to tighten things up and clean some things up and redevelop some character with this team right now.
Yeah, definitely need it as they head to Tennessee for certainly a tough game there against the Titans, who have now dropped 2 in a row. The flip side of this is the Saints side of it here, Stacey. The fact that they went into Chicago on the road, cold, wind. Drew Brees made throws. They let the Bears rally back, but they found a way in overtime without Michael Thomas.
They sure did, and they're continuing to ascend and get better. And they had to do this all during the Hurricane Zeta in New Orleans in preparation for this game. You have to give tremendous credit to Drew Brees. They kept him clean for the most part in this football game. You know, we talk about, I can remember talking with you, Andrew, about a month ago, what's going on with Drew Brees? No Mike Thomas, this or that. 5 air yards per attempt. He is incredibly efficient. If you look at the first half of the last 2 games alone, they have gone into halftime scoring a touchdown. That breeds momentum. They've been outstanding defensively in stopping the run. And when you have a guy like this, and Alvin Kamara, that helps things tremendously. 160, 3 scrimmage yards once again. I can recall defensive coordinator Chuck Pagano saying, "Where's Waldo with this guy?" I mean, he's literally everywhere on the field for the New Orleans Saints. Defenses just simply can't stop him. The goal for the Bears, Andrew, was to keep him under 100. What does that mean? Because he does it in the run game. He does it in the pass game. You just want to try to keep him, contained in some respect. They weren't able to do it. Not many teams have been able in defense of the Chicago Bears to shut down Alvin Kamara. But the efficiency of this team, Drew Brees said last night, we're getting battle tested, finding ways to win, doing it with complementary football.
Want to tip the cap to Roquan Smith. He did make a few plays on Kamara, simply not enough.
He did.
They keep going back to him because he is by far their most dangerous weapon. He had 96 yards receiving. Eventually, he's going to break you, and he did, and set up that final game-winning field goal. Thank you.
Questions about their coach during the week. These are one of the games that we need to win. Hopefully, it's just a reality check for us. Thankfully, we have a short week, but we need better performances moving forward.
We work so hard every day, limitless hours that nobody know, and losing don't feel good. So getting the win today was most important for me. The stats is a plus, and it come with a great performance, but winning is first for me.
Let's get to the Packers side of things first. Hi there, Tom Pelissero, as mentioned. Tom, at that game yesterday, pretty candid there from Aaron Rodgers. Trade deadline coming. They're talking about their coach there. We should have beaten him. Well, now it is a short week, and the short week may not work in their benefit because of the A.J. Dillon positive test this morning. How does this lay out now for the Packers?
Well, Andrew, the Packers are holding their meetings virtually today as a precaution after A.J. Dillon found out this morning that he has tested positive for COVID-19. Now, obviously, the first concern is for Dillon and his health. But if you look at this now from a competitive standpoint for the Green Bay Packers, this creates a lot of questions, particularly because this is the first time that we've seen a timing like this on a positive result for a team that plays in the Thursday night game, as the Packers do against the 49ers. They only have 4 running backs on the active roster. A.J. Dillon out for Thursday because of COVID. Aaron Jones has missed the past 2 games because of a calf strain. They don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to participate. Contact tracing now underway, and there are additional questions about if Jamal Williams or Tyler Ervin is considered a close contact, or Dexter Williams, who's the one running back they have on the practice squad. Is there a scenario where the Packers could be without all their running backs on Thursday night? Now, certainly that's not what anybody wants here, but this is part of the protocols that can create some complications, particularly when you're talking about on a 4-day week. There is no way to even go and sign anybody because they won't be able to get through the protocols soon enough to play in that game, Andrew.
All right, so they have a running back issue. They also have a run defense issue, which rarely bodes well when you're going to play a Kyle Shanahan team on a short week on the road here. Kirk Cousins only threw the ball 14 times yesterday, Tom, because he didn't have to throw the ball.
Well, and it was also smart because it was so windy out there that nobody really was throwing the ball downfield. I think Aaron Rodgers really only took 1 deep shot the entire game. It was going to be a run the ball and short passing type of an attack. And as we saw throughout the game, particularly on the Vikings' first 3 drives, all 10-plus plays, all went for touchdowns, chewed a ton of time off the clock, kept Aaron Rodgers on the bench Green Bay simply had no answers for Dalvin Cook. You know, his running stats obviously were massive, but probably his best play in that game was a 50-yard catch and run down the middle of the field, one of the highlight plays of his career. Dalvin Cook also, at one point late in the game, lowered a shoulder along the sideline, got up kind of shaking the shoulders, looking at his sideline, getting people fired up. He was a tone setter. There's no question about it yesterday. And for a Packers defense that was looking for an answer,